Yeah,
before I saw you. I hadn't even considered doing it, to be honest. Before I saw you at all, it didn't occur to me that something like that would help with what was going on. I didn't know much about it, and I think I didn't really trust it. I was probably a bit anxious about doing something. I probably was anxious about using it as a technique to help myself. I didn't like the idea of what I would consider maybe someone else having sort of access to my mind, which is what I assumed hypnosis was. And I think that made me a bit uncomfortable.
Okay. So, so how would you describe the experience then with me? Reflecting on that.
So, right. So reflecting on that and the experience altogether, the experience was wonderful. For one, I was completely changed in what I thought about hypnosis and what you were doing. I actually could say I actually really enjoyed the session with you. I completely changed the way I considered that kind of help. And I was so glad that I had done it when it was over. So you said describe the experience. So the conversational style that you use is really comfortable. It's really comfortable and comforting. It's kind of like talking to a really good friend. And it really allowed me to kind of seek the healing and understanding that I wanted around the situation at my own pace. So I think that was a bit of what was different from things I'd tried before, is that it wasn't something that I presented what was going on and someone told me what to do. It was more that I had a chance to work it through for myself. And I think for me, that's why the other things didn't work, is I didn't really choose them or choose my healing. It was handed to me, but I didn't work it through myself. But with this method, it's just so calm and comforting, and we just kind of went along this path, and it's I don't know, there's a great power in feeling that you're heard, both by someone else, but also by yourself. I felt like I could hear myself. And for me, I think that's what made the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So the session itself, it's funny, I don't remember it in detail anymore, other than I know that we kind of talked back and forth quite a bit. And you just have a very gentle, thoughtful way of kind of slowly making me aware of something that afterwards I felt like I kind of already knew, but I just hadn't seen it. As if it was always behind me and I couldn't look at it, and you just kind of gently turned me around and shined the flashlight on it, kind of what it felt like. And then in the awareness of it, we had the opportunity to turn everything around for me. And you were able to lead me to an insight that then helped me during the session turn the whole thing around, turn the whole picture of the claustrophobia around. And we joked about it a little bit, and the whole session was just a delightful experience of what felt like just a nice conversation with someone, and yet there was a lot of insight in it, and a lot of awareness coming out of it.
Okay, that sounds good. Sounds like a good experience.
Yes.
So how do you feel now after the session in regards to the claustrophobia?
When the session kind of just ended, right after that, my feeling was this actually quite amazing feeling of relief. I felt relieved, as if, the feeling was as if I had been carrying something really heavy for a long time. I mean, for like my life, carrying something really heavy, and someone had just kind of said, here, let me take that for you. And I just felt really light, and I don't know how else to describe it other than I felt calm and, happy. We'd had it was a nice conversation, but I felt this huge sense of relief. And that lasted for a little while, and then, the trip still hadn't happened. So as I got closer to the trip, I started to think, am I gonna feel claustrophobic on the trip? I wasn't feeling claustrophobic about thinking about it anymore. That kind of vanished. But I did start to worry about, oh my gosh, maybe when I get on the trip, it really will happen. I really will have the claustrophobic attacks. And those thoughts didn't arouse any anxiety in me, but I was wondering about what was going to happen. And by the time the trip came, I was like, oh man, I'm going to be in bad shape. What was amazing to me was all the circumstances which would have caused the claustrophobia were there. Everything, nothing of that had changed. All the circumstances which would bring it on were there. The people who would bring it on were there. The room that would bring it on, the airplane, all of it. And it was all there. And I experienced it all. And I didn't feel anything. And it's as if all those things just didn't have anything to hook onto anymore. So I remember a few times during the trip kind of noticing, oh, wow, I didn't get claustrophobic. Huh. And then I wouldn't think about it for a while, and I wouldn't think about it. And then towards the end of the trip, I was like, wait a minute. It didn't happen at all. I felt fine. It's like, this is a great trip. So I think that's what, the session was really wonderful because of the conversational quality and the healing quality of it, and the ability to listen to myself and have someone listen to me and get insights. The effect of that was a surprise. And that was even better, because just this ability to just have an experience that normally would have triggered me, or whatever you want to call it, just have no effect on me, was fantastic.